What's going on, guys? Back with another video. So as you all know, there's an election coming up, a by-election rather, in Battle River Crowfoot, where Damien Keurig, who is the incumbent, decided to resign so that Pierre Poilievre could run and get back into Parliament and continue to be the leader of the Conservative Party. Now, we've all heard the stories about the longest ballot committee, and there's going to be 200 or however many candidates on it, which, by the way, is a complete joke. It doesn't make any sense. Now, we're going to get into this a little bit, but before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really does help grow the channel, and I appreciate you so much for doing that. Now, there are a lot of conservatives who are incorrect when they say that the longest ballot committee is to protest Pierre Poilievre and try to get him out of his seat and keep him away from Parliament, yada, yada, yada. Well, the problem is they did the same thing in the Toronto-St. Paul by-election, which I believe was in May of 2024, where the Liberals had, a complete stronghold on that riding and hadn't lost it since the late 80s, and then the Conservatives ended up winning, even though it was clearly because Justin Trudeau was an absolute clown and an idiot and was losing support like crazy. That's very likely what caused that 30-point swing to happen in the Conservatives' favor. But there's a lot of people who were not happy about the fact that this group, this committee, the longest ballot committee, is essentially making it harder for people to vote. So you see here, this is from Table Salt, the ballot in the riding of Battle River Crowfoot, where Poilievre is running in a by-election, will be 88.2 inches long to fit 210 candidates. That's 7 feet long. Now that's absurd, because if you have a hard time reading, or if you don't like waiting in long lineups, it's going to take forever to vote now. Like, that's going to discourage people, and you could see an even lower voting turnout than you see in regular by-elections. It's not good news. Now, is this committee completely just biased and going after the Conservatives only? No, because like I said, they did it in Toronto-St. Paul, but it did also help the Conservatives. But there's also other factors, of course, yada, yada, yada. But my question to you guys is, should they be allowed to do this? Should there be a bill to stop them from doing this? And do you think this is going to cause a lower turnout like I think? Because I think it will. I think this is very bad news. I still think Pierre is going to win the seat, but I don't think he's going to win it as much as Damien Keurig did. And therefore, even if Pierre Poilievre still wins it with like 60 or 70%, people like Laura Babcock and all these morons on the left are going to use it against him, even though it doesn't really matter. It's just going to be annoying to hear about. So this is what the ballot apparently is going to look like. Now, Northern Perspective did also report on this a while ago, and they said that because the longest ballot committee is doing this, Elections Canada was actually going to use the same length ballot as they did in Toronto-St. Paul, which I believe was a couple feet long, and then they were going to just shrink the font. But because there's so many more candidates, they had no choice but to make it 7 feet tall. So here's Shaq. This is from the Pleb, by the way. So you see from Shaq, and then this is the ballot. It's the same size as Shaquille O'Neal. So Pleb says the ballot in Pierre Poilievre's upcoming by-election has so many names on it, it has now reached over 7 feet long. Same size as Shaquille O'Neal. It's going to take forever to count these votes, and that's the problem too. I'm going to be covering the election on that day, and I could be up till 4 or 5 in the morning, just like in the Toronto-St. Paul by-election. It took so long for them to count the votes. It looks like, hey, maybe something shady is going on, but it was like, no, it's just the ballots are so long, it's taking forever. It's crazy. Should not be allowed to happen, in my opinion. But it is illegal, it is currently legal, not illegal at the time. But it makes our elections look not legitimate. Or maybe that's not the right way to put it. It makes our elections look really shady. And people are going to ask questions no matter who wins. And people should be very secure about how our elections are ran. There shouldn't be questions like this. This is absurd. Then we have this from Jing Leahy. This is breaking. This is just from an hour ago. Elections Canada says that voters will have to write in the candidate they wish to vote in Pierre Poilievre's by-election due to the sheer size of the ballot. What on earth is this? So here's an article I found from yahoo.com, and this is from today. As a result of the high number of candidates in Battle River Crowfoot, Alberta, electors voting at advance or election day polls will vote using an adapted ballot. The adapted ballot will feature a blank space where electors can write the name of their preferred candidate. This will replace the typical list-style ballot on which electors mark a blank circle next to the name of the candidate of their choice. For their vote to be counted, electors must write the name of their candidate of choice. As long as the elector's intention is clear, their vote will be counted even if they misspell the candidate's name. But here's the thing, what if they badly misspell it? What if they're not the greatest writer and it's a little bit scribbly, and you can have excuses for votes to be thrown out? Like, this is so wrong on so many levels. Not to mention, there's going to be some people who sign their ballot when they're not supposed to, which again is their mistake, but they're making it easier for votes to, say, be discredited or not counted. And I'm telling you, there will be an effect here. I don't think it's going to be enough to cost Pierre the by-election, but I bet he doesn't get 80%. And it's going to make him look bad to some people. We people who support him, or people on the right, whatever you want to call us, Maple MAGAs apparently, which is ridiculous, we know that as long as he wins, it doesn't matter. But there could be swing voters who are like, maybe this guy isn't so popular. Maybe we do need a different leader in the Conservative Party. Again, it's not really the biggest deal in the world, because it's not up to them whether he stays on as leader or not. However, you don't want swing voters to have Pierre Poilievre look weak in their eyes in any way. We saw how easy it was for them to switch back to the Liberal Party after 10 years of destruction. And all of this is to make him look bad. It's to make him look weak. It's to get lower voter turnout so that the Liberals can, or not the Liberals, they're not going to win the riding. Let's be honest. If anyone's going to win the riding except for Pierre Poilievre, it's going to be the independent, well, quote unquote, independent Bonnie Critchley. Now, again, I don't think it's going to happen, but you know that if Pierre Poilievre does not get as good of the vote share as Damien Keurig, the lefties and the media are going to spin this to make him look as bad as possible, because we all know their bias. And it's shameful. It should not be allowed. This needs to change. I don't care if it's in a liberal or conservative riding. This is unacceptable. And there's no need for them to do this. There's no need for the Elections Canada to allow it to happen. So hopefully we can get this fixed. And hopefully on August 18th, there's no crazy surprises, if you know what I mean. We can get Pierre back into Parliament. But let me know what you guys think. Thanks again so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Take care, and I'll be back shortly with a new one.